Hi, and welcome back to Mingus on Tech. I'm Ken Mingus, Executive Editor at Computer World. I'm here with Dan Rosenbaum. We're going to hear about the Pixel 2. Stick around. Okay, Dan, so we're back. You've had a little bit of time with the new Pixel 2, and I wanted to find out from you kind of what you have discovered and maybe how it stacks up to the Pixel 1. And even though I know you don't want to get into the debate, I still have to decide whether I should get an iPhone 10 in about 10 days. So this is your chance to convince me to jump ship or jump the shark. I don't know which. So thanks for being here. Tell me about the Pixel 2.
Well, Pixel 2 sounds obvious, the follow-up to the Pixel 1, or the original Pixel. It's a really nice phone. Let me hold it up
Yep.
and show here. You're getting a picture of it.
Yep.
So I mean, it looks like your sort of classic slab. But when you take it out of the box, the first thing you're going to notice here is it's got this nice grippy matte aluminum back.
Okay. So
Well,
that's aluminum. It
beneath the
actually looks
glass.
it looks sort of rubberized in the video, but that's aluminum, huh?
No, that's aluminum.
Wow. Okay.
Nothing rubber on this, and it feels great. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the huge phones,
Yeah.
but I'm always afraid that it's gonna like pop out of my hands and fall on the street. Nothing like that here. This is a good solid thing. It's good grip. Um, uh, it doesn't pick up fingerprints.
Good. For the OCD in us, which would be very important to me. Yeah. It's
And
true.
there, of course, no OCD users of smartphones.
No, of course
Um,
not.
you can tell that this is made by HTC, which Google just spent $1 billion to hire a bunch of HTC engineers, and it's an HTC phone because it's got the fingerprint sensor
Yeah, on
in
the
the
back.
middle of the back.
Yeah.
And there are people who can't stand that, but I think it's the right place for it. I'm very happy with it. It's a nicely built piece of kit.
Now you're looking at we've got this is the XL model, the larger of the two.
This is the XL. I've got the smaller one, which is, well, smaller. It's a
Right.
5-inch screen, um, but they're essentially identical.
Okay, so the hardware is pretty much the same. You're only talking form factor in terms of the
Yeah,
differences between the two.
yeah.
And then in terms of size, is the XL about the same size as the big iPhone?
The XL is about the same size as the big iPhone, about the same size as the Galaxy 8 Plus.
Yep.
They're all really sort of about the same in terms of size and hand feel. Um, this one, the Pixel, feels smaller
Okay.
because you're not always having to worry about, again, having it squirt out of your hands.
Yep. All right, so it's
So I'm
easier to
I'm really
manipulate.
much happier using this than I am using the Galaxy 8 Plus, even though the Galaxy 8 Plus is a much sexier machine. I mean, it's all glass and it's got the infinity curves, and you sort of you look at it in someone's hands and you think, ooh, now that's a really cool thing. But the Pixel 2 for a phone,
Yeah.
um, I think it may be a nicer thing.
Well, it's interesting you talk about that because obviously design it plays a big role into what phones people decide to buy. But all of that design is worthless if the phone is so slippery that it falls out of your hands and cracks on
Right,
the sidewalk. I mean
right.
that's one of the. I mean, I've got the iPhone 7 Plus, and
Yeah,
I've had it in a case since I got it because it's sort of slippery. You feel like
yeah,
it's going to drop out of your hands.
yeah.
Okay, so in terms of using the Pixel 2, how does this thing stack up compared to other phones or even last year's Pixel 1? I presume faster, better camera.
Well, so
Uh,
it's much faster than the original Pixel. I mean, the original Pixel is now what, 2 or 3 years old.
yeah,
So the state of the art is advanced just tremendously. You put them side to side, and the Pixel One is just it's just slow.
okay,
Um, the Pixel 2 is up there with, again, the Galaxy, the Note 8, the regular 8, uh, the uh, the OnePlus 5.
hmm,
So they're all I guess the HTC 11. They're all up there in performance and screen performance, um, certainly in speed and sort of grace of operation. Uh, what the Pixel 2 has really new is, of course, it has Android Oreo, Android 8.
Right. And that's an important point. Yeah, something you had mentioned in the review that you're working on is that with these phones, if you're a company and you're concerned about people bringing Android phones to work, this is
Right.
going to be the ecosystem that gets you the fastest updates for the OS, the fastest security fixes,
Yeah.
because it's coming directly from Google, which is an important point
Yes.
for business.
And it's a promise that gets fulfilled. I mean, Google has already pushed out the Oreo update to the original Pixel.
Okay. So that
And
proves it.
and as far as I know, there's only one phone out there besides the Pixel 2 that's running Oreo, and that's a Sony phone that I have never seen out in the wild.
Okay.
So,
So in terms of the screen, one of the things I wanted to ask about is this has an OLED screen, OLED screen, right?
yes,
So,
right.
so beautiful screen, totally crisp and clear, and
Beautiful screen, totally crisp and clear, updates and scrolls just as you'd hope it would. Just like it looks like in a software demo. It just it moves. It's no sense of delay, no sense of artifact, nothing like that.
yeah. And I would presume the Snapdragon chip that's in it is at least partially to credit for that.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got the Snapdragon 835. It's got the I need to look this up. It has
Yep.
the Adreno 530, I think it is. Uh, too many numbers to keep in mind. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's all the fully up to date, the top of the line components as you'd expect from a flagship phone from a major company.
Yeah.
They're not gonna cheap out on it. Now there are a few sort of special features of the Pixel that's worth mentioning.
Yes, please.
The first thing, and I have to bring this up because it's just one of those things. Here's the bottom of the phone,
Yep.
and you see the very nice USB.
Wait, I'm seeing something not there.
There's something not there.
What could it be?
What could it be? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's no headphone jack on this thing. The good news is it uses Bluetooth 5. Bluetooth 5 has a lot to recommend it over the previous 4.2. One of the things is that it pairs with Bluetooth devices really fast.
Yeah.
So that's whatever friction you're having with Bluetooth for something like this, it's going to remove that a lot. There's a feature on the Pixel 2 called Now Playing.
Okay.
And this is sort of a stupid Pixel trick that for enterprises, no one's going to care. But the feature called Now Playing. You turn on Now Playing, and the phone is always listening for music.
Okay.
And when it hears a song it recognizes, and there's a database of tens of thousands of songs, it'll show the name of the song on the lock screen.
So if so wait, it's hearing, you're in the car and the radio's on, and
Right.
it hears, music coming through the radio. It will then sort of proactively pop up on the screen telling you what that song is and
Right.
who it's by. Okay, wow,
Right.
that's a very cool thing. Although
It's-
the whole thing about listening constantly always sort of worries me, but I guess,
Yeah.
that happens with Siri on the Apple phone too. And
Well, Google makes a big point out of Now Playing in that it's not communicating with the mothership.
okay.
That information and that algorithm and that chip is all local. So there's tens of thousands of songs. It's not asking anyone. It's just doing a query on its own database. They update that database every month. They say obviously they're in the first iteration of it.
Right.
And it doesn't get really deep. If you listen to older jazz, it won't do it, or older rock and roll, it might not show up. But when it works, it's really kind of cool.
So if I'm a big Dave Brubeck fan, it might or might not recognize Take 5 or something like that.
Well, it might get Take 5, but I don't know that it's going to get any deeper.
Yeah.
I showed up a John Coltrane track, Lester Jumps In. Very famous track if you're into Coltrane.
Not
Google
there.
Now Playing just couldn't care less.
Right. Not well, at least for now. Maybe after a couple of months of updates, and maybe we'll eventually show up.
Or maybe they'll see this review and they'll say, "Oh,
Well, I would
Coltrane,
expect that.
gotta get
I'm
some
sure they're
Coltrane."
going to see this and immediately pop it into the database for us. Okay, but that does sound like a cool feature. You're right. It's not something that a company would care about, but it's something that anybody's into music, and most people with their phones have music on their phones or some sort of streaming service that I can see why that would be useful and helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, another thing that's on here is something called Google Lens. Now, there's been a bunch of press about it.
Yep.
Google Lens is real live AR, and it's still getting there. The idea is you take a picture, and Google Lens can look at it and give you more information about what's in the picture. So I showed it a bag of almonds from a local supermarket,
Okay.
and it pulled out of that label in Lens the address of the supermarket. Says, "Oh, this came from that supermarket, and oh, by the way, those are almonds in that bag."
Wow. Does it also add like prices and things like that so you can like maybe shop around, or is it just more of an identity thing?
Not yet,
Okay.
not yet. I showed it a Kirkland brand AA battery,
Okay.
and it figured out the first time. It figured out that that came from Costco. Kirkland is Costco's home brand. Didn't say Costco anywhere on the battery.
Yeah. Okay. Very
Uh,
cool. I can see how that could really tie in at some point, once it's perfected to, mobile commerce or shopping, or, if you could tie that into something like Amazon or, yeah.
Sure, or tourism. You're out. You take a picture of a statue. What's that statue? The locals don't know what the statue is. Is this that pile of bricks at the end of the block? But Google Lens would be able to show you that when you take the image in with the location, in with maps. You start to do some very interesting stuff with the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. I can see how, yeah, if you're traveling with it. And of course, one of the things I want to ask too is about the camera on the phone.
Mhm.
Is it up? I presume it's been upgraded from last
It's
year.
been upgraded. I mean, the Pixel One uh, had I think the highest DxO score of any camera, and then the Galaxy S8 sort of topped that, and Google is saying now that the Pixel 2 tops even that. I don't really have the equipment or the knowledge of the eye
Hmm.
to do really in-depth camera reviews, but the camera looked fine to me.
It does what you would think. Well, I mean, it's always going to be a bit of an arms race, and
Yeah,
to each
yeah,
each one of these features, and every new phone comes out has something a
right.
little different or a little better. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What this
Go ahead.
doesn't have, speaking of the camera though, what
Yeah.
this doesn't have is a manual mode.
Oh, really?
So it's got slow mo, it's got panorama, it's got video, of course. But if you're really a camera tweak,
Yeah.
this is not the phone for you.
Okay, good to know. I didn't mean to interrupt in terms of the Google Lens. Were you done sort of explaining that, or did you have more that you wanted to add?
No, it doesn't do so well with generic stuff. I showed it a bag of screws from a hardware store
Okay.
down the street, and it didn't know what to make of it.
Okay. Well, let
So
me let me ask now, in terms of like storage capacity and prices. I presume the smaller one's going to be a little less than the XL, but what do we have for pricing and storage options?
there are two storage tiers. There's 64 gig and 128 gig.
Okay.
Uh, Google being part of course, Google Cloud and that whole ecosystem, they say that if you run out of space, if you take too many photos, or you store too much music, they'll just transparently put it up in the cloud. So the theory is you'll never run out of space on your phone.
Okay.
Okay, that's what they say. I would probably go out and buy the big one anyway, just because that's how I roll. Um, let's see, what are the prices here? The XL with 64 gigs, so the smaller large phone, costs 849.
Okay.
Boosting the memory to 128 adds 100, so it'll be 949. So we're getting into
Getting pretty close to
the
four digits there.
iPhone 10
Yeah.
area here.
Yeah.
The smaller phone is 649, and again, adding 64 gig to 128 adds $100, so 749. Verizon is the only carrier that carries it, but you can get it direct and from Google, and it's unlocked, and you can put whatever SIM card you want into it, including the Project Fi.
Okay, so those are all good things to know if you're looking to get one, if you're looking to upgrade. You know, if say someone bought a Pixel 1, say last year, you think this would be a worthy upgrade for them to, if they really want the latest greatest, or is it
I'm not a big fan of yearly upgrades,
okay?
but if you bought it 2 years ago, or if you bought it when it launched, which which I did,
Yeah.
this is a good upgrade. This is something that you should be looking at really seriously.
Okay. And then one other comparison that you had made, you talked about sort of how it compares, at least in terms of design, with the I believe it was a Samsung phone.
Mhm.
But so if you're picking on design only, you would go with Samsung. But if you're picking on really day-to-day use, same, different. Which
If
one
you were
would you
going
pick?
for day-to-day use, I like the Pixel, but one of the things that the Galaxy has that the Pixel doesn't is the Galaxy, remember, has an add-on and a dock
Okay.
that you can use it as a desktop. You can use it as an Android desktop, and the Pixel can't do that. If you're looking for a desktop replacement smartphone, and
Ah.
I don't know that
Boy,
anyone
that's
is
got to
actually.
be nichey. That's got to be really
It's got
nichey.
to be a niche, but when I reviewed the Galaxy, it was a really neat thing.
Yeah.
I could totally see someone using it. Um, and if that sort of interests you, if you have a really cheap IT department, um, and there's nothing wrong with a really cheap IT department, uh,
No comment.
then you should look at the Galaxy with I guess it's called the Dex attachment.
Right.
But for just a phone, um, I really like the Pixel.
Great. Okay, good. All right. So, uh, you know, got the latest operating system, Oreo. We'll get fast updates and security fixes. Good camera, beautiful screen, and easy to grip.
Right.
Not. It's under $1,000 still. If you really want to get up there. Okay, so that sounds like a pretty solid update.
It's a pretty solid update. I'm impressed with it.
Okay.
And it makes me wonder what they're going to do now with all these engineers that they hired away from HTC, because there's going to be a Pixel 3
And 4 and probably 5
and 4 and
all the way
probably
down
5.
the road.
Now you have another question about this, don't you?
Well, I've been, again, we've got Apple coming up with the new iPhone 10 in about 10 or 12 days now, and I have to decide. I like to joke that I'm kind of Android curious here, because I do like some of the designs, that I see out there, and Android is obviously so popular. So, the question I had, and again, I don't want to put you on the spot, but should I consider this as an option for the iPhone 10 instead? Because I do tend to do the annual upgrades.
Well, I tell you, um, I I'm I think devoted is too strong a word.
Committed?
I'm in the iOS world.
Okay.
Okay? The phone
As
that
am
I
I.
carry around every day is an iPhone. I guess it's a 6. I wear an Apple Watch.
Yep.
Um, I would miss the Apple Watch, and the Apple Watch and Android just don't play all that well together.
Right.
So it's funny. It may be the watch that locks me in. It used to be that iOS was just a smoother, easier experience than Android,
Mm-hmm.
but Google's gotten smart, and Android 7 and Android 8, which is Oreo, are really good user experiences now. And if all you're worrying about is a phone and you're not really locked into any other part of the Apple ecosystem, you may want to hang with this and with Android. I think the iPhone 10, to the extent that anyone has seen it,
Yeah.
has much more to do with the Galaxy S8. It's a full glass experience, a full OLED screen. It's nice. It looks like it's going to be really sexy.
Yep.
But I bet there are going to be a lot of people dropping the glass on the floor.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So I don't know. Am I going to be up at 3 a.m. ordering an iPhone 10?
Thinking about
Maybe.
it, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's about where I
Maybe.
am now. I mean, I've
Am I
got
going to
an
be returning it after it shows up? Well, then we'll see.
Well, I do have the Apple Watch, so as you say, that may be the one thing that keeps me in the Apple pack for now, and I'm in the Apple ecosystem. But I do sense that there's a real narrowing of the gap between Android and iOS, and really a lot of it depends on the peripherals around you now, and whether you're in either ecosystem. But good. All right. Well, that's good, solid advice. I've got a few more days to think about this and decide whether I might want to jump ship. Any last thoughts you can think of about the Pixel 2 that we haven't covered, or we pretty much covered the basis for now?
Oh, it does. It charges really fast.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is important.
Yep.
it uses a quick charger, and quick chargers have gotten big.
Okay.
This is the quick charger, USB-C there, and that's not svelte.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it'll get to 40% in about 15 minutes,
Wow, that is
and
fast.
it'll do a full charge 0 to 100 in 3 hours.
Yeah, I remember you had said too, it also seems to do it in steps. It'll do 40% in
Yeah,
15 minutes, and then what is it to get to 80%? It's like an hour or something like
it's
that.
yeah. I
Or
need to look at my notes here.
yeah.
It'll get you to 40% in 15 minutes, and then it'll rest for 15 minutes,
Okay.
and then it'll take you another 20 minutes to get to 80%,
Okay.
and then it rests for an hour.
All right.
And then it takes that last hour to go the last 20% to 100%. And I got to think they're doing that to manage battery heat.
Yeah, we don't want blowing up phones.
No, that would be bad.
No, that would be bad for business.
Yeah.
All right. Great. All right. Awesome insights. Thank you so much, Dan, for taking some time to talk about the Pixel 2. We'll have to wait and see what happens to both of us when the iPhone 10 comes out. But thank you very much.
We'll talk in a few weeks. Take
All
care,
right, deal.
Ken.
We'll circle back and do this again.
All right.
Thanks, Dan. And for now, that's a wrap.